everybody, and happy Video Monday. Teshia here. For this week's video, I want to talk to you guys all about a dietary tool that you could use that I believe could actually change your life. So what is this free tool that we all can access and use to perhaps change our life for the better? It's a food journal. If this is something that you have never ever kept before, I highly encourage you do it for at least 3-4 days. So first of all, what is a food journal? Basically, a food journal is a log, or you could call it a food log. It's basically record of everything that you eat, drink in a day, as well as a record of how each meal affected your body in terms of your energy levels, in terms of how full you were, how hungry, how soon after you ate you became hungry again. Your food log could be really descriptive, and you could record on a daily basis how often you're having regular bowel movements, these kinds of things. And by keeping track, putting it down on paper like this, you can really start to gain incredible insight into what's working in your diet, what's not working in your diet, where there needs to be a change, and so on. Now, that next piece can be a little bit trickier, but let's stick with why we want to try the food log for now and how you do it. So that's basically what a food log is. How do you keep a food log? So here's an example. You wake up in the morning. Write down whether you have a bowel movement or not. If it happens later in the day, you can record it then. I like to get people to keep track of that. Write down everything you drink, eat for the day. So, for example, you wake up, have a big glass of water with perhaps some lemon. Then, half hour later, you have breakfast. Write down exactly what you had. If you can, be really specific about the amounts of each thing. Record then how that meal made you feel. And then when you get to your next meal, write down, how long you felt satiated from that first meal. How quickly did you become hungry again? Then you write down what you ate for your second meal, or maybe your snack, whatever it is. And then again, record how you feel. How, did you have nice, stable energy, or did you feel a spike of energy and then a crash? These kinds of specific things are so important because they can be really revealing of patterns and, again, how certain foods could be affecting you. Maybe you're eating too many carbs at one meal for your metabolism. Maybe you're eating not enough carbs and you're experiencing blood sugar dips and you're experiencing lows. Or maybe a certain thing that you're eating is causing a response because you're sensitive to it, you're allergic to it in some way. So the more specific you can be, the better. Also, this can be an incredible tool for people who are trying to lose weight, because sometimes we're just not aware of how often we're putting this and that in our mouth. Maybe it's just a little handful of this and one bite of this here, or an extra little cup coffee from Starbucks that has just 1 teaspoon of sugar or whatever. But all of those little this, little that can add up. So it's a great tool for awareness. Become more aware of how often you're eating, how much you're eating, and again, more importantly, what is working for you and what's not working for you. Now, you may find after you keep this journal that you're like, okay, I realize that this and this and this isn't working for me, but I don't know what to do about it. This is where I really, really recommend that you hire a coach, whether it's a nutritionist or a naturopathic doctor, or if you really resonate with me, maybe you want to work with me and I can help you figure out what's working, what's not working, what we need to try differently. Your diet should make you feel well. You should be feeling energetic. You should be feeling strong. Your energy level should be balanced. Again, there might be something not working in terms of a food sensitivity, or again, just the different ratios of food that you're eating. So maybe a low carb diet isn't good for you, or maybe a low carb diet would be better for you than the high carb diet that you're eating. And I don't necessarily believe that there's one diet that fits every person. You really have to experiment with food and figure out what works for you. Sometimes, people are really adamant about being vegetarians, and I get that, of course. If you're really strong about that belief, you that doesn't mean that you can't still play with the amounts of the macronutrients that you're eating. You know what I mean? So you may want to be a vegetarian, you may feel best being a vegetarian, but the types of vegetarian foods that you're eating might not be the best ones for your body. Maybe you're very sensitive to beans, or maybe you don't tolerate nuts very well. And so all of these things, with tweaks, can help you feel better, can help you find an optimal, personalized, perfect diet for you. And of course, it's important to note that that can change over time. So, what worked for you in your 20s might not really work for you in your 30s. So, maybe you kept a food log before in the past, but now some things have changed. Maybe it's time to give it another try. So, I highly recommend, guys, that you try this out, use a food log, and figure out what's really working. And the main point that I want to leave you with this week is that if something isn't working for you, there's no shame in that. It doesn't mean that you failed. It doesn't mean that you didn't follow it closely enough, whatever it is that whatever your plan is, whether it was vegetarianism or low carb or high carb or low fat or whatever it is, because there's so many different types of diets out there now. It doesn't mean that you failed. It doesn't mean that at all. If whatever you're doing isn't working, try something else. Nutritional science can be pretty dogmatic, and I really don't want to see anybody fall into that. Be open to trying something else. You deserve to feel great. And if what you're doing isn't making you feel great, well, it's time to move on. I hope this has been helpful to you guys in some way. If you have a question, post it below. If you have a video request, post it below or send me a message. You can also send questions to me via message. So my Facebook page is Teshia Mahar and the Home of Living Live. You can get in touch with me there, or you can visit my website, www.teshiamahar.com, and you can always send me a message there. Have a great week, you guys. Happy Monday, and get on those food logs, and let me know how it goes. Talk to you soon.